Hello learners, welcome to week 4 section 1. We are doing BEDS 001 Overview and Perspectives of Values. Today we will be discussing concept of democracy. Why are we discussing democracy? Democracy is a very important feature of a country like India. India is the largest democracy in the world. What does democracy means? Democracy comes from the Greek word demokratia, which means people rule. So it means rule of the people. Why is it so important to talk about democracy? How is it related to value education? When we talk about values, values consist of aspects of ideals and aspects of respect for others, treating others equally, having a good relation, becoming a good members of the country, becoming a good members or citizens of the country, a good citizen of the society. So these are a few aspects and ideals of a person who has good values. So when we talk about democracy, democracy also upholds these values, it upholds these ideals for a person to become a better citizen of the country, a good member of the society. So when we talk about democracy, when we talk about value education, democratic ideals are also a very important part of values. And like I said, democracy comes from the Greek word demokratia, which means people, demos, and kratos, which means rule. So it means rule of the people. Democracy in the true sense rests on certain concepts like equality of human beings, respect for individuality, rights and duties, inclusive participation, justice, and the like. So it is very important part of value education. Democracy is a very important ideals which upholds values which are important for the society, for the country, because it consists of ideals like equality of human beings, respect for individuality, rights and duties, inclusive participation, justice, and the like. Some 500 years BC, the city-state of Athens made a political arrangement which placed the final authority in the hands of the people rather than with the few or a single person. So, rule by the people was the meaning of the term by which democracy began. So, when we talk about democracy, when we talk about the historical perspective of democracy, how did it begin? When did it start? This particular concept of democracy began some 100 years BC in the city-state of Athens, where rather than the final authority resting in the hands of a few people, political arrangement was made in such a way that it placed the final authority in the hands of the people. So this is how democracy began in Athens some 500 years BC. But the connotation of this term acquired different shades with changing context and gradually evolved as a concept over the years. Now the term, which means the term democracy, conveys much more than rule by the people. In the case of a form of government or any other context, it means much more than rule by the people. Philip G. Smith states the characteristic features of the Athens democracy. It is very important for us to talk about Athens democracy because it is in Athens where democracy began. So, what are these characteristic features of Athens democracy according to Philip G. Smith? According to Philip G. Smith, the characteristic of Athens democracy are rights and responsibility of every citizen for participation in a lawful government, a separation between public and private affairs, and recognition that even private affairs should be regulated by socio-moral code that is in harmony with the principles that guide governmental affairs. So these are the characteristics of Athens democracy. Let me repeat, according to Philip G. Smith. Number 1, rights and responsibility of every citizen for participation in a lawful government. That is, how do you participate as a citizen in a lawful government? You participate by electing your representative, by casting your votes. Then a separation between public and private affairs. It means you have to demarcate what is your public office and what is your personal affairs, and a recognition that even private affairs should be regulated by socio-moral code that is in harmony with the principles that guide governmental affairs, which means that you have to follow rules and regulations. Yes, you lead your own private life, you have your own personal life, but then those personal life, those personal way of living has to be regulated by social moral code that should be in harmony with the rules and regulations of the country. You cannot just live your own personal life and not think about the rest of the society. You have to live your life in harmony with the principles that governs governmental affairs. What we did was the historical concept of democracy. We said democracy started with Athens democracy, and we also discussed what Philip G. Smith characteristic of Athens democracy. So that was the historical concept of democracy. Now we will talk about modern concept of democracy. What is the modern concept of democracy? We will start with the liberal democracy. The modern concept of democracy is the liberal form of democracy and is based on the United States Declaration of Independence, a statement made in 1776 which involved notions of natural right and social contract as concepts of government. Many of the founding fathers of American democracy also considered the Greek concept of democracy. Following deliberations on concepts like equality, liberty, and fraternity, they adopted a comprehensive view of these. The concept beneath the American democracy is based on Abraham Lincoln's idea of democracy. And what are these ideas of Abraham Lincoln? According to him, the idea of democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This definition implies that democracy is a process, not a society frozen into rigid political, economic, and social order. The prime objective of this type of democracy is not to build up the authority of the state, but to secure maximum fulfillment of individual abilities. So, the objective of democracy is to secure maximum fulfillment of individual abilities. This is where your rights are given to you, democratic rights are given to you. The maximum fulfillment of individual abilities is the main focus of a democratic country, and also it is in a democratic country where you are able to exercise so many rights. Democracy will live only as long as it survives in the hearts of people, for it depends on an attitude towards life rather than upon laws. Democracy functions through peaceful give and take. The competing and conflicting groups must be given the opportunity to be heard properly. In no other way people can form an intelligent or reasoned judgment. Teachers need to practice this and nurture such feelings in children. So when we talk about democracy, democracy functions through peaceful give and take. I give something to you and in return you give something to me. It's a give and take, which means that you follow your rights, you have rights given to you, but then you should not exercise your rights at the expense of others, which means that you should not create obstacle for others to exercise their rights. And in a democracy, you have competing and conflicting groups who are given opportunity to be heard properly. Everything is based on fair judgment. You have the court of law where you can go and approach the court of law if you have any problems with any group. If any groups have any problem, then you have the court of law which will hear the arguments of both the parties, and a fair judgment will be given. So these are all the features of democracy where you have you can exercise your rights by not creating obstacles for others to exercise their rights. Then you have competing groups, conflicting groups who are given opportunities to be heard in the court of law, and fair judgment will be given by the judge, by the court. And when we talk about democracy, with regard to children, with regard to teaching, with regard to teachers, teachers need to practice this and nurture such feelings in children, that is nurturing of attitude towards others, attitude where you exercise your rights as well as you give opportunity for others without creating any obstacle. You uphold your rights, you exercise your rights, but at the same time you live in harmony with each other. You do not create any obstacles for the others to practice their rights and duties. Some advocates of democracy have argued that democracy should be considered as a title for a process. However, these days people are using democracy as the name for a set of principles for a process or a way of governance. In the beginning, when I discussed concept of democracy, what I have said was democracy is now more than rule of the people, by the people, for the people. Now a lot of advocates of democracy have said that democracy is to be considered as a title for a process, and also people are using democracy as a name for a set of principles for a process or a way of governance. In this extended meaning of the term, democracy becomes related to nature of man and includes relationship between man and nature, individual and society, as well as with concepts like freedom, equality, justice, and many more. So when we talk about democracy, it is now more than rule of the people, by the people, for the people. This term democracy has become more than this particular phrase or this particular line of rule of the people, by the people, for the people. Now it has gone beyond the rule of the people, by the people, and it also includes concepts like freedom, equality, authority, justice, and many more. Each of these different considerations of man suggest a form of meaning of democracy, first as an ethic and then as a form of government. It follows that two societies having clearly different views of nature of man will employ the term democracy to refer to clearly different ideals and practices. Let me repeat. Each of these different considerations of man suggest a form of meaning of democracy, first as an ethic and then as a form of government. It follows that societies having clearly different views of nature of man will employ the term democracy to refer to clearly different ideals and practices. So when we talk about democracy, when we talk about the characteristic of democracy, when you talk about ideals which should be present in a democratic form of government, in a democratic country, let us take the example of our country, India, which is the biggest democracy in the world. And what are these democratic ideals. What are these democratic characteristics which makes it the largest democracy in the world? We elect our representatives, we cast our votes irrespective of any caste, religion, color or creed. So when we talk about India, India is a democracy. It has set an example to so many countries in the world because it upholds what is called the ideals of democracy, because it gives rights, it gives fundamental rights. These rights are equality before the law, you elect your representatives, and then you have your freedom to practice any faith, religion. You are not forced to do anything, and if you feel that your rights or your duties are being curbed, you can approach the court of law. The court will have will hear you out, there will be fair judgment and so on. So when we talk about democracy, these are the very ideals which makes our country such a fantastic example of what a democracy should be. And like I said, the concept of democracy emerged from Athens, where this particular concept of democracy took place in 5th century BC, where instead of authority by a few people, the final authority was given to people. So from Athens in 5th century BC, it slowly moved on to what is democracy in the world today. And like I said, yes, democracy is by the people, for the people, of the people. But when we talk about democracy, it is more than these. We talk about equality, liberty, equal opportunity, and so on. So in today's class, we have talked about the concept of democracy. We have talked about the historical concept of democracy when we started with Athens democracy, and then we have moved on to what is your modern concept of democracy. Thank you so much.